I just wanted to say uh, how sad it is um, to have to walk away from your family of origin. It's kind of a really sad thing when you really think about it, and it's pretty heavy, you know, especially on the one that walks away. Like I don't know if I'm like in a grieving process. I think I'm in a grieving process. Um, you know, living trying to live as if everybody died, you know? I feel like I'm in a grieving process and it like feels like my heart's broken or something. I don't know how else to describe it other than that, you know? Um but I don't know. It's just a really sad thing all around that one child has to go no contact from the entire family and extended family, everybody, to survive. He has to cut everybody off and walk away as if they never existed. You know, it's hard as hell. uh, Not gonna lie, it's a heavy thing, but I just gotta hope and have faith that the universe has my back through all of this. You know, that God has my back through all this um, process, and make sure I can get through it. Um, and hopefully come out the other side and not end up homeless on the streets, you know. But I don't think that'll happen, but it is a really sad thing when you think about it. And even when, especially when you're experiencing the separation, it's a really sad thing, you know. You're the one experiencing the separation. Like you're the scapegoat of the family, and you're separating and you're experiencing the separating, and it's like tearing your heart out, you know. Um Tearing your soul out or something. It's a it's a really painful grieving process, you know. I won't lie. It's pretty heavy, but yeah, I didn't think it'd be this hard, you know. But they do say it's harder to walk away from a abusive family than it is a healthy family, which makes sense, you know, because there's like trauma bonds involved and that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this video, is just how sad it is. Um, it's a really sad thing, for sure, that one child has to walk away, you know, to save themselves, basically. And I don't know, try to depend on the universe and God, and pretty much for the first time trying to depend on God, you know. Uh, because when I was within the family, I didn't really depend on God at all. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of God back then. When you'd rather hang out with a toxic family than acknowledge God, that's pretty bad. And that's where I was in the past. Is I'd rather be around a toxic family than even acknowledge God at all, or the existence of God. That's how disappointed I was. That's the right word. Disappointed. How disappointed I was in God, and that's pretty bad when a kid is disappointed in God, and then yeah, that is pretty bad, and that's where it was. That's how it was. I was disappointed, and I guess I'm still disappointed. Because like another survivor said this in the past, and I remember this comment, and they said, you were mad at God because of all the people that should have known better, God should have known better. Out of everybody in the whole scenario, between the kid, parents, out of everybody, God should have known better. You know what I mean? And that's where the disappointment is. And like one of the last times I spoke to my biological father, he knew how disappointed in God I was and how mad at God I was. More than I was at a psychopath. I was more mad at God than I was a psychopath father. That's pretty bad. And my father knew that. And there was one thing I said before I knew I was leaving for good. I said, I think all I'm good for is just one last noble thing, and that's it. My body is wrecked. My mind is kind of wrecked as well. Physically, mentally, I'm pretty wrecked. So I just thought all I was good for is just like one more noble act before I left the planet, But I feel like I've done a lot more than just one noble act, since leaving my father. Since I said those words, I feel like I've done more than that. I've delivered thousands of food deliveries, over 5,000 food deliveries, since then. And so that's just one of the things I've done since then. And I've gone to support groups and stuff, and I feel like I've helped people as well. But I don't know. Still haven't found that joy and happiness that I've been kind of looking for, but like I thought I knew what happiness would be, but I was wrong. It was more of a kid's mentality of what happiness is, or a teenager's mentality of what happiness is, you know. And they don't know what happiness is at that age. So I didn't know what happiness was either, you know. I was just kind of guessing. But yeah. I've been stressed lately, you know. I've been really worried and that certain things won't work out, and you know, I have that fear of being homeless, and because things didn't work out a certain way. Um, Even though I try to stay on top of all my bills, you know, there is that fear in the background, you know. So, but anyways, that is, well, the main thing I just want to say in this video is how utterly sad, that's what I'll say, how utterly sad it is that you had to walk away from your whole family, and I had to walk away from my whole family. You know, it's a very sad thing, you know. You're born into this family, and you don't think you're going to leave the family forever. You know, you don't think that growing up. You don't think that, oh yeah, there's going to come a point where I'm going to walk away and never look back from the family, never even call them, never even visit them, nothing. There's going to come a time when I will cut everybody off. I know that didn't go through my mind growing up. Not even close. You know, I didn't think that growing up, that I would cut everybody out of my life permanently and then never look back. You know, I didn't think that, you know. That's a pretty crazy idea back then for me, or a pretty radical idea for me. I didn't see this coming. Maybe God saw it coming. I don't know. But I didn't see it coming. That's for damn sure. I wonder if God in his mind knew that he was going to separate me from the family. I wonder if God knew that the whole time. You know what I mean? The entire time, God knew that he was going to remove me from the family permanently. Eventually. I wonder if he knew that. Probably. That's pretty crazy if he knew that. But no one knows the mind of God, that's for sure. Or why he does things. Because I didn't see this coming. You know, my separation from the family. You know. And I know the family didn't see it coming. You know. So God kind of surprised all of us in a way. With that, I mean, even I feel like God even separated me from religion. How crazy is that? God removing me from religion. I never liked religion anyways. I didn't like it. I felt like a fraud. When I was sitting in church, I just felt like a fraud. You know, I didn't believe it. I God knew I didn't believe it. You know, I'm sitting in a church and I don't even believe in God at all. So yeah, it was kind of easy for me to walk away from that, you know. But I knew I couldn't I knew I couldn't fool God. you know, sitting in a church, you know, pretending that I believe in God. I knew I couldn't fool him. So why show up to a church, you know, if you already know you can't fool God, that you're a believer of him or something. But anyways, that's all I'll say for this video. I just hope things work out in the end somehow. I don't know how they're going to work out. I don't know. I have no idea how they could work out, but hopefully things work out somehow. I don't know. And I feel kind of dumb that I thought that separating from the family of origin would be the cure, would cure me of all my pain and ailments. You know, it didn't cure me. You know, it didn't cure the thing. It didn't cure the things I thought it would cure to remove myself from toxicity. It's almost like the residue stayed on me. You know, from being around them. The residue, I know one professional calls it the tar and feather effect. Wherever you go, you're tarred and feathered, you know, and so it kind of follows you. The scapegoat role kind of follows you too. You know, you go in different groups and you feel like they're scapegoating you as well. They can tell, like they can see the tar and feather on you in a metaphorical kind of sense. But anyways, I admit though it's a scary road to walk, and a very unknown road. It's so unknown, this path. And I think it's a path that only the scapegoat child goes down. It's a unique path, you know. I mean, the people around me right now in this parking lot aren't going down this type of a road, this path. They're in their own world, you know. They're with their family still, you know. They're still in a family unit, you know, having a great time. So you're on a totally separate road from them. But it's all right. I guess that's all I'll say for this video. Later.